The film starts with a truck passing through the desert, conveying 14 individuals toward the back. It would seem these are Mexican workers illicitly crossing the US line looking for a superior life. Among them is a man named Moises, who is holding a teddy bear. The toy is uttering sounds and he doesn't have the foggiest idea how to switch it off. A man teaches him to press its stomach, and it promptly quits making commotion. Tragically, while driving across an infertile territory of desert, the truck unexpectedly stalls. The driver, Lobo, gets out to check and asks the settler bunch in the event that any of them can fix the truck. Moises lifts his hand and claims that he is a repairman. He moves toward the front of the truck to review the motor and finds that the motor has been annihilated and can't be fixed. With no other choice, Lobo recommends that they proceed with their process by walking through the barren wasteland. One of his companions, Mikus, cautions that it's a hazardous course where a whole group was as of late butchered. Nonetheless, Lobo consoles him that they were killed because of medication dealings with cartel individuals. Mikus is as yet reluctant. However, Lobo in the end persuades him by promising him more cash. He then focuses the settlers toward the us and requests all from them to get off the truck. The gathering currently has no other options but to walk across the desert to get to their objective. Somewhere else in the desert, we see an American man named Sam driving a truck while drinking liquor. He is joined by his dearest, furious canine, Tracker, and the two have embarked on a mission to track down a hare for lunch. Soon after, the settlers show up at the boondocks, which is covered with security fencing. Lobo uncovers that now they will step into the us. He underscores the requirement for mindfulness and says that assuming they hear even the smallest sound, they must quickly stow away. The gathering concurs and they cross the hindrance individually. Coming to the opposite side, in another scene, we see Sam snatch his rifle and discharge at a figure somewhere out there. The gunfire reverberations all through the area, causing tension among the foreigners, who look for shelter in a field covered with prickly plants and moving bushes. In any case, it just so happens Sam had just killed a hare for his dinner. Inevitably, the gathering believes the danger has passed and sits down to rest, drinking some water. During this time, a man hassles a foreigner named Adela and attempts to play with her. She guarantees that he isn't her significant other and that her folks just requested that he care for her. Seeing this, Moises mediates and diverts the man to keep him from crossing his limits. The gathering then gets up and resumes their excursion. In the meantime, Sam is passing through the same region, right when he encounters a watch official. The latter asks him what he is doing so near the line, and on the off chance that he has a permit. Sam ignores it and contemplates whether he really needs a permit just to hunt bunnies, so the official says he doesn't. Here, Sam assures that he had filed a report about unlawful outsiders invading this area and questions whether the police conducted any investigation. The official responds that he knows nothing about the situation, which seems to disappoint Sam. In the following scene, the migrants have been parted into two gatherings. One gathering, led by Lobo, is moving quickly and has gotten very far ahead. Then there's the slower gathering, which includes Moises, Adela, Mikus, and two others. Mikus hollers at Lobo to slow down and wait for them, but the latter just laughs and ignores him. He blames them for moving too slowly and urges his gathering to walk faster. All of a sudden, the slow gathering sees Sam's truck from a raised perspective on a slope and quickly hides. Minutes later, Sam leaves his truck and finds a cloth lying on the ground. He gives it to Tracker to sniff and orders him to see whether there's someone nearby. Before long, they spot the migrant gathering led by Lobo walking somewhere far off. Sam takes his rifle, focusing on one of them. Everyone is shocked when slags show up all of a sudden, but Sam is excited to see a gathering escaping for their lives. He continues to take shots at them individually. The gathering fiercely goes through the huge desert to save themselves, but Sam ends up shooting them all. In the meantime, Moises' gathering watches the man killing everyone from a distance and is sickened by the grim scene. After killing them all, Sam congratulates himself on his triumph. The sociopath harbors a profound scorn for unlawful settlers and enjoys greatly killing them with his own hands. During this, Tracker keeps on barking forcefully toward the direction Moises' gathering is going. Sam then sees a couple of individuals heading over a slope and decides that he ought to kill them too. Soon after, Sam arrives toward the stopping point, where he leaves his vehicle and requests that Tracker find the gathering. He follows behind his canine with a rifle close by. The gathering soon notices the horrendous canine pursuing them, prompting them to take off. Minutes later, the man who was before bugging Adela drops his rucksack and races to get it. As a result, He falls behind his gathering, and Tracker eventually catches up to him. Adela sees this and rushes to help the man, but Moises stops her since it's too late. Tracker violently tears the man's throat and ends up killing him. After this, the remaining 4 individuals continue to rise uphill while Tracker pursues them. They then move up to a tree and come to the opposite side of the slope. Tracker also tries but is unsuccessful, so he begins searching for alternate ways to climb. Before long, the damn canine finds another way and continues to pursue them. Sam also moves to the highest point of the slope and gets a view of Moises and his sidekicks. In a little while, the gathering arrives at a trench, and to save themselves, they need to jump from one colossal stone to the next. Realizing that Tracker is closely behind, they have no choice but to take the risk. Moises, Adela, and Mecca successfully take the leap and arrive at the other side. However, the 4th person is extremely terrified and lacks the courage to make it. He sees Tracker somewhere far off and courageously attempts to leap to the next rock. Unfortunately, he barely grips onto the stone, and at this point, Sam fires the man with his rifle, causing him to fall to the ground. The projectile doesn't hit Moises, and he takes off with the other survivors. After this, Sam begins concentrating on the guide of this area to anticipate their escape route. He then orders his dedicated canine to pursue the remaining 3 outsiders, and Tracker starts running while Sam jumps into his truck and starts driving. Later on, the gathering sees Sam in his truck, but he doesn't see them as they're hiding in the gorge. Sam then leaves his vehicle and begins checking out the area. Unfortunately, Tracker sees the migrants from a distance and begins barking aggressively. The 3 continue to ascend the stone once more and attempt to escape from there. But because of Tracker's continuous barking, Sam wakes up and also begins to climb the gorge. He soon notices Mecas, who has fallen somewhat behind Moises and Adela, and the apprehensive person ends up falling to the ground below. Seeing this, Sam moves down the stone and shoots Mecas in the head to finish him. Now, the only survivors left are Moises and Adela, who are still taking cover behind the gorge. Out of nowhere, the teddy bear in Moises' rucksack starts to play music, so he quickly switches it off. Tracker and Sam hear this and think that the 2 are still nearby. But Sam is exhausted from the prolonged day, and night is falling soon, so he decides to leave for now and continue his hunt tomorrow. At night, Moises communicates distress for the passing of her male companion, yet Adela answers that she hasn't known him for that long. She explains that she would have rather not come here, but her parents thought their town was unsafe for her. Moises then reveals that he used to live illegally in America with his wife and son. One day, he was stopped by a cop because of a broken headlight, which led to his arrest. He initially tried to leave the country through legal methods, but was put down by local police and thrown into a detention center. The teddy bear was given to him by his son during his deportation. Moises vowed to return someday. He will do anything to reunite with his son. The following morning, Adela goes to the highest point of the slope and notices Sam with his truck from a distance. She then turns around to find Moises, but on her way, she is alarmed by the presence of rattlesnakes in large quantities. Despite this, the young girl carefully moves to a new spot, narrowly avoiding a snake bite. When she finds Moises, she informs him about her plan to take the white man's truck and drive away. Moises is apprehensive and insists they need to get rid of the dog first. So Adela assures him that she has a plan and just needs his teddy bear. In the next scene, we see Sam assembling his stuff while Tracker is resting on the ground. Suddenly, the dog wakes up and starts to run off somewhere. Sam assumes that the settlers are nearby, so he follows it with his rifle. They reach the highest point of the slope, only to find the teddy bear playing music and surrounded by snakes. Sam then sees the workers heading toward his vehicle. He tries to fire at them, but is interrupted by a snake. Here, Sam starts shooting at the pair from a distance, but he misses every shot. Moises grabs the antenna on the vehicle and uses it to open the front door. They manage to get inside and close the windows while Tracker tries to find a way to bite them. Luckily, Moises starts the truck just in time and drives away from there. The migrants are excited that they have finally gotten away and start to celebrate their triumph. However, their joy is brief. Sam suddenly shoots at the truck, hitting Adela in the shoulder, and sends Moises into a state of panic, resulting in a crash. Fortunately, Moises manages to escape the truck unharmed. He then helps the injured Adela out and gets a first aid kit from the truck. The 2 quickly escape from there. After walking for a while, they arrive before a giant cactus and decide to rest there. Moises opens the first aid kit, where he finds a bandage and a flare gun. He tends to Adela's wound and tells her that he needs to leave her. Moises affirms that if he stays, they'll both die, and he is determined to see his son again. Shortly after, Sam and Tracker notice the blood trail and soon arrive at the huge cactus where Adela is resting. Adela sees their presence and tries her best to hide. At this tense moment, Moises fires a flare gun in the distance and provokes Sam to come after him. The latter instructs Tracker to follow Moises, stating that the girl is hurt and will die soon anyway. After this, Moises begins to run toward the cactus fields while Tracker pursues him. Moises carefully makes his way through the brush of cactus. While this is happening, the dog continues to run at a rapid pace and eventually catches up, but Moises shoots the last flare shot straight into his mouth. This causes the dog to writhe in pain while being stuck between the cactus. Moises then takes the opportunity to escape. On the other hand, Sam hears his dog whining and is devastated when he finds Tracker in a burned state. To end his suffering, he ends up shooting Tracker. After the death of his beloved dog, Sam pulls himself together and swears vengeance on the person who did this. Meanwhile, Moises spots a border patrol vehicle in the distance. He hollers for help but fails to get their attention. Sam sees him and starts shooting multiple times, but Moises manages to avoid the shots. The unfortunate worker hides in the bushes, pleading for help while crying. Soon after, Moises starts climbing another rock hill to get away from Sam. The latter continues to pursue him while Moises takes cover behind the canyon. The two circle around the canyon, and after a suspenseful chase, Sam finally stops at the edge of one of the cliffs. Hiding right behind Sam, Moises realizes it's his only chance to defeat him, so he tackles Sam off the mountain. The two men hit the side of the mountain and roll down it. Due to the fall, Sam is seriously injured and sees a bone poking out from his skin, while Moises appears to be fine. They both notice that Sam's rifle is just within reach, and Moises manages to get his hands on the gun. He points it at Sam and confronts him about how he killed his companions like they were animals. Sam, who is close to death, apologizes for his actions and begs for his life. Despite what Sam did, Moises decides not to kill him and starts to leave, believing that the desert will kill him slowly. In the final scene, Moises goes to find Adela, who is still behind the cactus and in critical condition. She appears to be in a shocked state, and he asks her not to lose hope. Moises carries her on his back and assures her that they are almost there. After walking for an entire day, Moises sees flickering lights in the distance, which suggests they have finally reached the city. And this is where the film ends.